Living in America is exhausting. You wake up tired, you go to work tired, you come home, barely surviving, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, and you're still fucking broke. Every single month, rent's due, rent is through the roof, groceries are double what they used to be just 2 years ago. You go to the gas pump to fill up your car and it's like you paid another car note. Everything, and I mean everything, is up in price. But your paycheck, still the same. And once inflation gets done with it, it's probably even a little less. Yet somehow, they keep telling us, just budget a little bit more. Just work a little bit harder. Like, I'm sorry, how many jobs do I need now? 4? 5? 7? That's not living. That's barely surviving.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right, so in today's episode, you're going to be looking at Americans who are complaining about the high cost of living.
Right, and most of them want to give up on the great American dream, terming it as a scam.
Right.
And right now, the biggest question we are asking is, how can this situation be remedied, and will it be remedied at all?
Right.
As we ponder upon that question, guys, let's watch what we've prepared for you today, and then we come back and talk about it. But you can also leave us a comment on what you think about this episode. Also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel. Let's watch.
Living in America is exhausting. You wake up tired, you go to work tired, you come home, barely surviving, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, and you're still fucking broke. Every single month, rent's due, rent is through the roof, groceries are double what they used to be just 2 years ago. You go to the gas pump to fill up your car and it's like you paid another car note. Everything, and I mean everything, is up in price. But your paycheck, still the same. And once inflation gets done with it, it's probably even a little less. Yet somehow, they keep telling us, just budget a little bit more. Just work a little bit harder. Like, I'm sorry, how many jobs do I need now? 4? 5? 7? That's not living. That's barely surviving.
The way the cost of living has gone up is fucking crazy. A 1-bedroom apartment is damn near $2,000 a month, which is crazy. Like, what? Food is steady going up. And it's just like, damn, what do y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to live on the street in a box and, you know, eat out the garbage and drink my spit? Because at this point, that's what I'm finna fucking do. Because, no, I'm not finna pay for no $2,000 apartment and I'm barely in it, motherfucker. Because I'm always at work trying to keep the motherfucker. So, I don't know.
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree? I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week and it feels like we're working our off for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
What am I doing wrong? I work every day and I'm still broke. Like, I have a decent job, I make some decent money, but I live out here in Cali. Like, bro, as soon as I get paid, I have all these bills stacked up, bro, that shit wipes me clean. Like, fuck, I got no money left over. Making $100,000 a year doesn't get you anywhere nowadays.
Leaders, you have 6 years to get your together financially. By 2030, there is going to be the very wealthy and the working class. There isn't going to be a middle class. And if you look throughout history, there was rarely a middle class. There was always the ultra rich and the working class. Like it or not, you are going to watch AI evolve so rapidly over the next 6 years that it's going to replace a lot of people's jobs. So you really have two options. You're either going to be an early investor in these technologies shaping the new infrastructure of our economy, or you're going to be a late adopter and consumer of them. Leaders, this is my weekly warning, and I do at least one of these videos a week to hopefully reach the people who are ready to stop messing with their future and take control of their financial destiny. Because guys, it's not going to get easier from here. A lot of people, and it doesn't bring me joy to say this, but the truth is a lot of people are going to get really wrecked. We're seeing systematically the middle class being wiped out. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's happening in our economy. And it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But here's the thing. In these turbulent times, rich people get richer, poor people get poorer. There's a reason for that. Success leaves clues. So, leaders, from my heart to yours, get your together. Okay, if you want to join our free investors group, we focus on digital assets like cryptocurrencies, but we talk about all sorts of investing. Okay, you're either going to be a owner and investor of the future, or you're going to be a consumer of it, an adopter of it. So choose wisely for you and your family. Comment crypto.
People are always saying that the average American makes $45,000 a year. Where does the average American work? I want to make $45,000 a year. Are you kidding me? The most I have ever made is $30,000 in a year. Where are these people working that they're making $45,000? Like, don't just tell me that they're making $45,000 a year. Where do they work? Is their job hiring? I need more details. Like, where are they getting these numbers from? I don't think I know anybody in my life who is making $45,000 a year. Like, that is insane. I think that's like the average, only because like there's literal billionaires who are making like so much in a year that like regular people, they're like, oh, the average is 45,000. The average person, I would say, probably makes like 30,000.
In case you guys are wondering how things are going in California, we're at the grocery store and the eggs are $17.49.
I don't know if y'all saw that article where it talked about over 70,000 evictions have been filed in Atlanta, Georgia from this year, January, up until like now. And it just, one, made me grateful that I'm here surviving, but two, it also made me realize like a lot of people are struggling behind closed doors. And it's just rough for everybody. Everybody's penny pinching. Everybody's, denying themselves certain luxuries. Like, it's really, really hard out here. And who knows when it's going to get better. I was talking to my friend and I was like asking her what she thought about it because she did leasing. And she was saying like there really does need to be some rental control here in Atlanta just alone, where it's just like a 1-bedroom, 600 square feet. It's costing like $1,900 and people are being forced to pay it. And your safety is being questioned because it's just like, if I do take the whatever is the cheaper apartments now, which the cheaper apartments, shit, they ain't too cheaper priced than the luxury apartments. So it just made me realize like, damn, like we're really living in some harsh times, and it sucks to be an adult around this time because it's like, damn, like you can't do anything out here. You can't find a car, can't find a decent job, you can't pay your wages. It's just like, it's always something. So it's hard to stay positive when people are going through rough times like this, because I'm like, damn, if it's 72,000 evictions that's been happening since the beginning of this year, where are people gonna go? Atlanta is only about this big, so where are people going to relocate to? Your credit is fucked up. Like, it's so sad. And maybe because of the weather, and I heard that, like, I'm just feeling very darkish and grayish today, even though I want to be in a happy mood. But it just made me realize, like, I'm very thankful that I'm able to afford my lifestyle and everything that comes with it. I can't think of anything that I would want to get rid of to save me some money. And it's like, okay, if I get rid of my Netflix subscription, I'm saving what, $12 a month? It just wouldn't make any sense. So I don't know. I want to really say a quick prayer for like those people that are going through those rough times and being evicted, and people lack empathy. Everybody thinks like, oh yeah, people just weren't paying their rent and buying Nike shoes. Everybody's situation wasn't like that. when you're in the hole, you'd be surprised how quickly you can become 1 month, 2 months, 3 months behind. Then you have credit cards, student loan debt. Like, it's so much. Now student loans are about to resume. Like, it's like, what do you want people to do? And so now people are choosing, like, okay, car note or my rent. I need some place to stay. Like, it's really, really, really sad. I don't know. I think people are saying, like, oh, well, because of Biden and what Biden has done. And again, I don't know. I feel we're just going to leave that topic for another day. But something has to be done. And I think people are so against government assistance. But at times like this, it's really needed. You know, people want to be like, oh, you know, you shouldn't be on government assistance and no food stamps and no Section 8, no BEBT. How do you expect people to survive? The people that don't even want to do that anyways, they don't want to be on Section 8. They don't want to get food stamps. But what are they going to do, starve? Because they don't want to get government assistance? So anyways, it was just saddening hearing all that because I'm like, damn, families are really being displaced. And there's this narrative like people don't want to work. But it's not that people don't want to work. These jobs aren't really hiring. They're putting it that they're hiring people, but they're not. They'd rather work the 2 or 3 loyal people in the company and have them do the job of 8. And yeah, the people have to just stick it out because they need to pay their rent. Either way, it's just sad. And I think I really want to do a prayer, not only for myself, but for the people that, you know, people who are really going through it right now.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Yeah, you know, it's quite sad to know that there's a lot of people who are really struggling with the high cost of living, and like the life isn't fair. The comparison between how they're living and to picture that there's someone in the same country who's living like the best life they ever have, and like their generation is settled. They don't lack for anything. If they want to take a trip abroad, it's just a matter of their secretary or assistant booking flights for them, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also a gentleman here who spoke out and he said that right now, working hard does not really take you anywhere, especially because I think it's the one who said he makes $100,000 a year, right? And he said no matter how hard you work, $100,000 is not enough to take you anywhere right now. So you're just being told by the government or by whoever, you need to work harder, you need to, you know, budget better, you know, and they're doing all this and nothing is still working out. And you know, it just reminded me of a very ironical situation, Maren, right? It reminded me of an era when Black Americans would come out to complain, and they would say that in America you can work as hard, especially for Black Americans, you can work as hard as you possibly can, but sometimes you don't always get anywhere. And you can also budget as hard as you can, but also the system will not allow you to go anywhere. You feel like you're being choked by the system. But white America back then, they used to be amongst the group of people who would tell Black America, you just need to work harder, you just need to budget more. And right now it's very ironical that they're also singing the same song with the Black Americans, whereas if they could have listened to Black America back then when this whole situation was happening, I don't think the country would have gotten to such a terrible state where everybody is now hurting. And what I came to realize with all this situation is back then it was things were happening only to the Black community, and this is because the palm-colored people were made to believe that they were special and that Black Americans were not working hard enough to sustain their lives. But right now, it's getting to a place where they're realizing that it is actually the 1% versus everybody else.
Right. You know, guys, there was someone who was talking about a video on Instagram who was talking about how it's gonna get to a point where the middle class will no longer exist. It's either you're gonna be poor, rich or poor, and if you're rich, you're gonna own everything in the world, and if you're poor, you're gonna be owned, you know. And he was just talking about how you need to like really rest with yourself and get to that point. Before that point, it gets to that point and you find yourself.
A fine line.
Right. And I feel like this is a very quick example of that coming into reality, because there was a lady also who was wondering that there's a data speaking about an average American earning $45,000 $5,000 a year. And she was asking, where are these average Americans who are earning that amount? Because she was saying,
But I'm sure they do exist. It's just that right now
it's hard
okay, I don't know
on a lot of people.
Yes, but I'm sure they do exist.
And it's quite sad, guys, to know that there's a lady who spoke about 70,000 eviction notice being issued in Atlanta, and that's just Atlanta alone, And it's quite sad because all this 70,000 eviction notice, that is just the figure. You've not counted how many people, let's say, for example, in this household, how many people in that household live in that said home. You've not counted that. So in reality, it's not 70,000 people that are going to be displaced. It's more than that figure, because in a family you can have up to 5 family members or more, So you're beginning to look at a point where this is only Atlanta, Georgia, where you're getting
counted the other
states. And it's quite unfair that while the price of commodities or the cost of living is really shooting up so high, but the paycheck is just remaining constant,
Right.
No growth, no nothing,
Right. And sometimes hearing all of this situation, it usually makes me wonder to what end, like, where do the 1% who are controlling this whole situation, where are they taking? Of course, we know the end goal is for them to, make children of poor people work for them, but still, like, it makes me feel like sometimes the future looks bleak.
Yeah, guys, I don't know what you have to say about this, but I think we did another episode about people talking about empty shelves, and right now we are going to be having empty homes as well. But okay, I was thinking
it doesn't make sense because like right now I have seen on TikTok a lot of places in America where TikTokers walk up to the homes. There is nobody in those homes, like it's been vacated for quite a long time because people own mortgages. So I don't know why the houses are empty, especially in a place called Detroit, right? And I'm wondering, does it make sense,
like rebuild those
neighborhoods, and also can they just change policies? Does it make sense for homelessness to keep growing and yet there are empty houses just sitting there?
That is where capitalism comes in, and I do feel like if people weren't like big corporations and people, these families who control economies and where war goes and everything, if they weren't selfish enough just to make to benefit off of suffering, I feel like these are all people who could come together and correct a certain place.
Work.
Exactly, because you tell me why a neighborhood can go abandoned for over a decade or for a couple of decades,
and
you
they
see
are nice,
run-down homes.
Okay, they're run-down homes, but they're big enough and they can be renovated and families can start living there again.
And these are neighborhoods that truly used to thrive. There was one, I don't know where, there's a specific place where they used to mine coal. I don't know if you guys know where the place I'm talking about. Right now, people moved out of that place. I think there's a guy called Tyler Oliveira on YouTube who did such a documentary, You can go check out, look for Tyler and then look for that documentary. Town where they used to mine coal. And during the days in that documentary, they say the people who are left behind say that town used to be really, really successful. It was a beacon of hope,
and it was one of the most progressive towns in the 90s.
Exactly. So you ask yourself, why would you let such a town
die? Even if the coal industry has significantly gone down, I feel like there's also another activity they could have introduced to help sustain this particular town,
to help with the economy of that place, instead of exploiting a place, leaving that place, going to exploit somewhere else
and leaving them in a depreciated state.
Because I also saw in that specific town alone, they used to have infrastructure,
even
and
good schools, like
good
that
schools.
Is the structure of the school. If you were to carry it like that and bring it to somewhere in Kenya, a place called Turkana, you could have helped a lot of people.
Yeah. So I even saw they used to have Walmart stores there, but Walmart, just as it was left like that. Like people moved away from those towns.
So Walmart moved also because like you can't have a big store in a place where people are moving and abandoning the area.
But the funny thing is when Walmart was moving in there, it destroyed a lot lot of local
Little shops.
local businesses, because now people stopped buying from little shops and they were going to that big store, Walmart, where you could find everything,
and at a cheaper price.
Right. So in some way, you could also say these big corporations play a role in destroying the economic,
making an economic system of a place.
Right, two sides of a coin, right? Anyways, guys, let me know, what do you think about this episode? Because right now, it's fair to say the cost of living in America is
unbearable.
It's unbearable.
And it is these situations that often you find the citizens of a particular country having an uprise, because you just push them too much into the wall that they have nowhere else to turn to but to push right back at you.
Right. Imagine, guys, the lady who was talking and saying that her together with her boyfriend, right?
They still don't make enough and they work very hard, and they still can't afford their lives, and they don't even see each other because of how much they're working.
Right. So this is to some extent also costing people their own personal lives. It's like
they're being turned into human robots.
Right. And there's one at the very front, a guy who was talking about how it's hard right now because you're working very hard, you barely get home, like you barely have personal time, but you don't even see what you're working hard for. People do get tired, but what else choice do people have? That's the question.
I wanted to say you could hold the powers that be accountable, but hey, this is a difficult one.
Yeah, guys, let us know what you think.
What really upsets me the most is when God created Earth,
everything
was free, and he meant for human beings to live off of the earth, to live freely. Right now,
water is being sold. Oxygen.
You have to buy the very land you have to build in, and you can't
timber
just
you use, you have to buy it.
And when God created trees, it was free. Hey, old days were really good.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode on the comment section. Also consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and we'll catch you on our next episode.